Doctor Who, Season 10, Episode 3, Thin Ice. This week, the Doctor and Bill are in 1814, in England at the Frost Fair on a frozen Thames, where something lurks beneath it. Ooh, what could it be? It's killing people, it's scary. It's just some type of giant space whale, maybe? So this week's episode seems to be following a pattern, as has the first two episodes this season, of the villain not being remarkable. The Puddle in Pilot and then the emoji bots in Smile both seem very forgettable to me. Everyone remembers the Silence, or the Weeping Angels, Dalek, Cyberman, but people tend to forget the Wasp in the Agatha Christie episode, or the Jadoon, which appeared a few times. Those are memorable, at least. The writing was good in those two episodes. Let's just hope it doesn't follow through the rest of the season. We have Missy and the Master and things coming up. So what I'm saying is the villain this episode wasn't that memorable or that good. What was good was the humour. I really liked the humour. When Bill's questioning the Doctor about, do I step on a butterfly and I'm never born type thing, which we know in Doctor Who doesn't happen. There's the whole time wants to happen thing. So things like this just kind of keep going, just kind of warps around them. Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, of course. The part about Pete, who was travelling with them, that Bill's just forgotten because she'd come to 1814 and then obviously he disappeared from existence. That was actually quite funny. The seriousness, kind of aloft way that Capaldi delivers the lines, I think really made it for me. I actually found quite a bit of humour in that. The way the kids were saying at the end, when they're going into the mansion, you know, don't say anything about the way that Bill talks funny. I thought it's kind of good because you kind of notice occasionally people saying, you know, oh, what are you talking about when they're time travelling? Because they've never heard of TVs, or when they're in the future and they're talking about old things. It's kind of good. I really enjoyed the costumes in this episode, giving them a reason to dress up all fanciful, even though Capaldi's Doctor's original look with the coat, not the hood, would have fitted in Victorian England. I feel there was a missed opportunity for Bill to complain about having to wear a dress. The diving suits looked really nice as well. I really like the copper finish on them. They look like really low tech, while I make the assumption that they're kind of high tech. And the circus performer costumes kind of stuck out to me in the background. They looked pretty eye-catchy. Overall, the costumes were really good this episode. And of course, something that was eventually going to have to be confronted when travelling into the past. Bill is black. Probably none of you all noticed because, you know, we're an enlightened 21st century people. But when travelling back, we've obviously had this with Martha before, where she had to pose as the Doctor's maid because she could not have a higher standing of actually being a doctor back in the Family of Blood episodes. So that, of course, reared its ugly head when the Doctor and Bill go to find Lord Sutcliffe, who bursts into the room yelling and screaming about Bill being an animal. And whereas the Doctor had previously told her to keep level-headed because she's got a temper, the Doctor then proceeds to just knock the guy, just drops him. Single punch. Quite a good shot. So that was dealt with rather quickly and neatly, giving a very strong reply to the subject of anyone being racist. What seems to be a continuing thread in this season, mostly because we have a new companion, is who is the Doctor and what is he capable of? Which is ground that's being retread, but it's being retread in a slightly different way, I think. Maybe just because of how they're writing Bill. So last episode, Bill worked out why the Doctor helps people. It's because of the sign on the TARDIS, which I don't think anyone's ever pointed out, and she made the conclusion that way. But this episode, she's starting to question, what methods does he use? How violent is he? Does he kill people? Has he gone out of his way to kill people type thing? So she first questions this after the Doctor doesn't get upset or asks her what's wrong after the boy is killed. Now, the Doctor, of course, we know would have noticed the boy was dead, but wanted to try and save other people, so was doing his best to think about that and save everyone, while Bill got preoccupied on the fact that he was not upset. And the Doctor has to tell her, yes, he has killed people, and was trying to tell her in a way that it was the only option. The Doctor doesn't use death as a first choice. But what we do notice later in the episode is that when Bill and the Doctor are tied up, when the Doctor realises the killer little fishies are being attracted to the sonic screwdriver, he just gives it to the henchman. Gives it to the henchman and kills him. And Bill doesn't really seem to notice in the moment. And to me, it just shows that in a lot of places, a lot of media these days, even Doctor Who, characters kill people without any ramifications. So it really does go to show, though, what Bill was talking about. Like, does the Doctor kill people? Yes, he does. But is she okay with that? Lastly, of course, the great mystery this season, what is in the vault? It's now banging on the door. So we know that it's something that's physical, so to say, something that can actually bang on a door. But I thought it may have been some type of bomb, some type of artifact, even a black hole locked away. I don't know how that would work, but it just seems that it is a physical being. Maybe it's Missy. Maybe it's the Master. I hope it is something that is worth the wait, at least. This episode looked good and was funny, but again, the villain seemed a little bit lacking. Unfortunately, I may have backed myself into a corner with my ratings on the previous 2 episodes, but I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10 again, just because it was a good story, and I think it just lacked that little bit extra execution, the same as Smile did. So yeah, we'll go with a 7 out of 10 again, and hopefully the entire season is not 7 out of 10. See you all next week.